Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Lichtman Live. Donald Trump is set to make an announcement. He was supposed to start at 1 p.m. It's already 1:19. Apparently, it's going to be on the Epstein files, but we will see exactly what happens here. I have the feed up live. Hello, everybody in the chat. Abe, Leah, nice to see you folks. We'll see what happens here. Any guesses? My guess is that he'll make an excuse about why they're not releasing them all. If you're wondering, my dad is currently at a doctor's appointment, so he'll try to join us as soon as he gets back. But I thought, we shouldn't miss this, right? Hello to Emily, Terry, Tiffany, Artworks, Brady, Jane, Locomotion, Laura. Cameron says, I heard he wants 2 more weeks. I wouldn't be surprised. Vicky says, yep, no files. Hello, Tony. Oh, my dad's fine. It's just like a routine. I don't know if you know, but he got his shoulder replaced, so he just has a follow-up appointment on his shoulder. So he's perfectly fine. Don't you worry. So I'm holding down the fort right now. All we got now is this shot of the White House. Skip says 2 more weeks for healthcare too. Interesting. Hello, Niam. Skip says, I already read Skip's. Hello. Chevy says they're definitely not going to release anything incriminating. Yeah, I would be shocked. We'll see what happens here. I'm starting to get the feeling that something's happening. Something fishy's happening here. I don't think they would make this big announcement unless they were going to try to obfuscate something about what's about to happen today. Hello, Rocker. Hello, Angel, Blaze, Terry Roberts. Trump says Trump doesn't want to release it. I agree. Where's Allan? He's at a doctor's appointment, follow-up for his shoulder surgery. He'll join us as soon as he gets back, but I didn't want to miss the conference because this seems to be the main piece of news that's going to happen today. Tiffany says more time for redacting. Yeah, that seems to be the leading theory. He's resigning. I wouldn't get your hopes up, Holly. That dude says, "What's going on?" We're all waiting to find out. Trump is supposed to make an announcement right now, assuming it's about the Epstein files. But who knows? Did you see the Democrats release new images of Trump? Too bad you can use Google reverse image search and see the pictures of Trump is with adult women. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I haven't looked into that. He only gives bad news on Fridays. Maybe so. Hello, Carol. The victims are supposedly coming out with their own list. More power to them. Obsidian says, I fell out of politics updates. What's happening today? Trump is making an announcement right now, and people are assuming it's about the Epstein files, but nobody really knows. We're sitting here waiting for the announcement. He is now 24 minutes late. The adult women picture has been debunked as AI. I haven't looked into that, so I'm not gonna comment on that. Do I have time for a beer run, says Nate. At this point, man, probably. Guitar Plier 1990 says, I enjoy you and yours content, even though I usually don't agree with his beliefs. Are you talking about me and my dad's beliefs? Anyways, you're anybody's welcome to be here, no matter you agree or disagree with us. He's announcing war against the world. That would be scary. Wow, 2 diaper jokes in a row in the chat. That's hilarious. If you're tuned in, don't forget to like the stream. We have almost 600 people watching, but only 66 likes. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Turn that notification bell so you know we're live. Emily says, Trump may try to talk about other celebrities in the Epstein photos, but remember that the only one culprit is a sitting U.S. president. Only one of the culprits is a sitting U.S. president. Good point. David says they are loading the files on a rocket launch at 5 p.m. There's some funny people in the chat, man. Some of y'all are comedians, man. Thank you to Dustin for a $5 donation. Trump took another cognitive exam and aced it. Okay. Thanks for telling us. Viva says, I'm guessing he's waging war on Venezuela to dodge the files. If this is to announce war with Venezuela, man, holy moly, that would be horrific. What's the story here? What and where did they announce this? I don't think anybody knows exactly what the story is here. We've got the AP with a live stream. It says live, Trump makes an announcement. Oh, you guys can't see that because my video's blocking it. Here. In the corner here. Live, Trump makes an announcement. That's all it says. Obviously, today is the deadline for the Epstein files, right? So people are thinking that this is going to be an announcement about that in some shape or some fashion. Multiple people are now saying war with Venezuela. God, I hope not. That would be horrific. I'd much rather them just stall in the Epstein files than declare war, you know? Khalidi says, again, I think he's afraid to release them. The files may further damage his reputation. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the files aren't going to help him in any way, I don't think. At least the full release of the files. So I can't imagine why he would want them released. He doesn't want them released. We saw that in the vote up to the release of the files. He and Mike Johnson tried to block them, unsuccessful. He's converting to Judaism and moving to Israel. Wow, that would be quite an announcement, wouldn't it? Yes, our video title does say it's in regards to the files. I just put that because I assume that's what it's about. I could be wrong. If that changes, I'll change the title. But as of right now, that's what I'm assuming is the case. Wow, almost 800 people watching. Only 171 likes. Don't forget to like the stream. It helps us a lot. Lynn says, your hatred for the president is horrible. I think my disagreements with the president are valid, and I think you should respect my perspective, Lynn. Thank you very much. It's going to be about drug prices. Should we do a poll? What's this announcement about? Let's do it. Start a poll. What's this announcement about? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Venezuela health care, that can be drug prices incorporated, Epstein, or other. It could also be a combination of all the above, you know what I mean? Why is today the deadline? Because that's the bill that Congress passed set a deadline on the release of the files. That's why today's the deadline. Where's the ballroom? That's a good question. So we're looking south at the White House here. So north. I think it's on the right side of the screen. It's supposed to be. Bro, do you think he would go to jail? No, not anytime soon. All right, Pi Network, chill out. Stop spamming the chat. Trump has Biden derangement syndrome. That's true, Khalidi. That's a good point. I never heard that one before. I like that one. He's probably going to yap about himself for another 18 minutes. No, I don't think that's going to happen. Not another Trump infomercial. For the love of God, don't put us through that again. Where's Allan Lichtman? He is at a doctor's appointment. When he comes back, I'll try to get him on air. He had shoulder surgery, and it's a follow-up appointment to that. But he's doing well. No worries. Thoughts on Trump reclassifying marijuana? I actually think that's a good thing. We had a show last night. I meant to mention that, but I think that's great. I'm all for reclassifying marijuana. Trump is putting his name in everything that we love. I know they officially put his name on the Kennedy Center. Bro, get your own thing. It's already the Kennedy Center. We don't need two names for the Kennedy Center. Get your own thing, bro. Well, the chat's moving so quickly. I'm not used to this when I'm reading the chat. They already said only part of the files will be released. I did see that reporting earlier that they've already started saying that they're not ready to release it all. Which is like, what were you doing? You had, what, a month? I mean, I know that there's thousands and thousands of documents, but still, it's like, get to it. Thank you, Ralph Perry, for your donation. Appreciate that. G Bar says they won't release the files. Yeah, I'm getting, in this moment right now, I am getting more and more pessimistic about the release of the files. I am thinking they're either going to release very little or they're going to be like heavily redacted. I think that's probably more likely. You know, they'll release maybe a tiny bit today or something, and then over the next couple of weeks they'll release stuff and it'll just be crazy redacted. They also want to do that to lessen the blow, I think. You know, if they release everything in one day, that's sort of bad for them because all the news can conglomerate onto today. But if they kind of do this slow leak over a long period of time, it'll sort of weaken the news cycle. Kara says 1,100, no, it's 1,200 people watching, only 300 likes. Yeah, come on, folks. Like the stream. It helps us a lot. Leah Salby says he will not release all the files. Vanilla stuff. They removed all the videos with sex. It's a freaking game. Yeah, there's no doubt they're playing games here. I think at this point, I mean, we'll see what he says, right? I mean, who the F knows what he's going to say, but Christian Schaffer says, hello from Germany. Shout out to Germany. Diego says, I always like the stream, bro. Shout out to Diego. Joseph says, don't you find it funny how far left Democrats think Trump is in the files with 5 cameras on him with recordings saying he raped women? Yeah, I don't think that the files are gonna like explicitly accuse Trump of a crime. I think he's just gonna be in them a lot. He's obviously very closely associated to Jeffrey Epstein, right? And that's not going to be good for him if his name keeps showing up again and again and again in these files. Even if there's not an explicit crime or an explicit writing or picture of explicit wrongdoing, he doesn't want this. Of course, I mean, nobody would. If you were this crummy of a human, right, and you ended up in somebody's files of a crummy human being like Epstein, you wouldn't want your name associated with them, period. Vonda KT says, I don't care who's involved. They need to be held accountable. This is getting ridiculous. I agree with you. Whoever is involved with Epstein needs to be held accountable. I don't want to hear whoever it is, Democrat, Republican, filmmaker, whoever it is, billionaire. They need to be held accountable. Anthony Armand says, complicity is just as damning. Very fair point. Very good point. Maybe he's firing Susie and Cash. I don't think he would do a big announcement like this just to fire people. Dude, what is taking him so long? 36 minutes late. I was rushing home. I took my dad I drove him to his doctor's appointment. I'm rushing home like 1 o'clock, 1:05. I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to miss it. I could have been chilling. I could have gotten something to eat. I could, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah says, cover up is obvious. Yeah, I think we're getting more and more to definitive proof of a cover up. Again, we'll see what he says, but everybody says he's sleeping. Why is that like the typical thing people say about Trump? Oh, he's asleep. He's asleep. The announcement says it's about drug prices. Does it say that? So I guess that could be another thing, is that this is, some big announcement to distract us from the fact that the Epstein files are supposed to be released right now, right? According to Fox, this pressure has something to do with drug prices. That would be wild. I mean, that would just be such an obvious distraction, right? Like the whole country is waiting for the Epstein files released. You make this big announcement and it's about drug prices. 600% off drugs. That's hilarious. Let me see if I can. Yeah, drug prices down 5 trillion%. Let me see if I can find more information about Trump announcement. All the streams I'm seeing, even from big news sources like Sky News, they just have a vague Trump makes an announcement. So I'm looking at the New York Times right now. Mr. Trump is set to announce, quote, more incredible deals to lower drug prices, his press secretary said. The president has said repeatedly that America's prices should be aligned with lower costs in Europe, and he has announced voluntary agreements with several drug makers through agreements that do not achieve aligned pricing from... Maybe this is it. Epstein documents. This is the latest updates from the New York Times. The Justice Department plans to release on Friday several 100,000 documents from its investigative files on Jeffrey Epstein, said Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, but he suggests the department would not release all of its materials, saying the lawyers were continuing to review documents to redact materials that would identify Epstein's victims. So it does seem like this is a announcement on drug prices. But it's not 100% clear. I don't understand what the... I mean, there should be... They didn't meet the deadline, right? They were supposed to release all of the files today. They should be held in contempt of Congress or contempt of court or something, no? I mean, that's never going to happen because Congress is Republican controlled, and also they are the DOJ. Like, who the DOJ is going to prosecute themselves? Probably not. So the video is just clickbait. I mean, maybe I should change the title just to Trump makes an announcement, because it might not be on the Epstein files. I thought Trump makes an announcement. I'll change it for now. I just assumed it was on the Epstein files. We have 2,000 people watching. Only 500 likes. Don't forget to like the stream. That helps us a lot. Don't they have until midnight? I believe so, but apparently the Deputy Attorney General is already saying they're not going to release everything. So, breaking their own law they wrote last month. Good point. Diego says Patriot Games announcement was AI bet my paycheck. You're saying the actual announcement he gave was an AI video? I haven't watched it, so I can't. He's announcing that everything is great and it's Joe's fault. Yeah, probably. Any announcement on Epstein would not come from Trump. He will hide for at least a week if they release anything. That's a fair point. I didn't think about it like that. That anything about Epstein from this point on is probably not going to come from Trump's mouth. I mean, of course he'll talk about it, but... He's obsessed with Biden, yes. I think he's just obsessed with his quote-unquote enemies. You know, he's obsessed with Obama. He's obsessed with Biden. He's obsessed with Hillary Clinton. Oh, my dog came in here. This is a distraction from the Epstein files. From what I'm reading right now, it seems that is most likely what's happening here. Let's check in with the poll. What's this announcement about? 40% say Epstein, 29% say Venezuela, 24% say other, only 7% say healthcare. So the lowest one in the poll seems to be, from what I can tell, the leading topic of this announcement. Dude, at this point, 44 minutes late. I don't know what to even think. He was supposed to go live at 1. We are almost 45 minutes late. Beekeeper67 says, this will be another rant about absolutely nothing. Nah, this has got to be something. I don't think this is just going to be a general rant again. He just did that two nights ago. And to pretty much horrific reviews. I can't imagine they're going to double down on that, especially in the middle of the day. He won't show? That would be crazy. I'm looking at some live coverage from NBC News right now. Apparently, Trump told NBC News in a phone interview yesterday that he's leaving the possibility of a war with Venezuela on the table. That's pretty scary. Democrats, this is from an hour ago. Democrats on House Judiciary and Oversight Committees say they are examining all legal options on slow Epstein files release. Interesting. So his Democrats have already promised to do something about the fact that these might be slowly rolled out. That's good. The Democrats finally growing a spine. Democrats and GOP lawmakers slammed DOJ's plan not to release all the Epstein files today. All right, so seems pretty clear that we're not getting all the files today unless something crazy happens. Seems like there is motion from both Democrats and GOP to try to hold them accountable for not following the law here, right? He's finishing up his spray tan. Yeah, maybe so. Why are we in a war with Venezuela? Well, we're technically not yet. Why might we be in a war with Venezuela? I believe money, oil are the two main reasons why. The Cheeto in Chief. I haven't heard that one before. How would we even know if everything is released? That's a good question. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows the answer to that. I'm assuming that it's already public knowledge how many files they have on Jeffrey Epstein. Like, for example, they've got a total of, 110,000 files. So if they release 20,000, we know that there's hundreds, tens of thousands of files missing. No news conference, Taco. They're not. Joanne Riviera says there's 95,000 Epstein files. Now, when they say is that just documents? Is that pictures and documents? Are there voice recordings? If there's a voice recording, does that count as one file? That's another question. Grim Psycho says this is a fake file release. I sort of think that might happen. Although it seems like all of the reporting right now is saying that this is an announcement on drug prices, healthcare stuff. Which, hell, lower drug prices. I'm all for that. M. Pinchy says a bunch of those 95,000 files have been released in part too. Interesting. Why are we killing people on boats? The Trump administration is claiming that they are narco-terrorists. The other side would argue that they haven't even proved that, and even if they were, you can't just execute people. That's the debate being had right now. Movie Boy says, I hope he announces his resignation. Don't count on that. I would not count on that. You think he'll show up before the turn of the hour? No, I think at this point he will not show up before 2 p.m. Stacy McMahon says they can do whatever they want, Sam. They don't follow the law, and the law is not going to make them follow it. Unfortunately, that's just how it is in America right now. Yeah, I think you might be right. Unfortunately, like you said. He's going to announce his plans to steal Christmas. He's the Grinch. I heard that early this morning Trump was flown by helicopter to the hospital. I have not heard that, so I would not expect that to be the case. He'll announce a new NFT. That's a good one. If they don't release the videos which the FBI recovered from the Epstein Island, it's a sham. No one in the media mentions the videos. Interesting. I didn't even realize there were videos. He already did steal Christmas by making us all broke. Oh, man. Sad, but true. Sad, but true. President Trump is resigning? I doubt it. Still 39% say that it's going to be about, this announcement's going to be about the Epstein files. Can you change your vote in the poll? I can't remember if you can do that. Let's see if there's any other updates. No. Jeffrey says, Trump running for a third term, and I will vote for him. I believe that's unconstitutional, Jeff, but do you, brother? Do you? Pow. I was going to check if you can change your vote in the poll. All I want for Christmas is... Fill in the blank, folks. Let's see if I vote healthcare. Oh, no, you can't change it. So, Epstein's still way ahead, but that may be because... Before I announce it, at least on this show, we were talking about this being an Epstein thing. I might have swayed the poll a little bit. Masters, remasters. It has to be Epstein because today is the deadline. It doesn't have to be. As someone pointed out earlier, they don't seem to be that conscious, or they don't seem to care much about deadlines and laws. And also, someone said earlier too that any announcement probably on the files themselves probably wouldn't come from Trump. It would come straight from the DOJ, which I think is probably accurate. I'm starting to think this is not going to have. He's not going to say a word about the Epstein files. That's where I'm leaning right now, at least. Epstein will come up. I don't know. I think if it's an Epstein announcement, it's an Epstein announcement. If it's not, I don't think he's going to mention it at all. Dennis says, a diet of nothing burgers. 0 Day says it's about drug prices. That seems to be the leading reporting right now, is that this is going to be about his Trump RX lowering drug prices thing, which again, I'm all for, but very interesting on the day he chose to do it, right? On the day that the Epstein files are going to be released, he may be making an announcement on this big drug price reduction. And don't forget, NBC News just reported that they talked to him last night and he's talking about war with Venezuela still on the table. That's also a possibility here. I would say of those three, in my mind, it's the least likely is to be certainly declaring war on Venezuela. I don't think that's going to happen right now. I mean, he can't declare war, so I don't even know what he would say exactly. I would say, as of right now, I think highest chances are it's about drug prices. Second, Epstein. Third, Venezuela. He's going to announce the annexation of Canada. Can you imagine? That would be wild. A lot of people in the chat seems to think it's about his health. I don't see that happening. I don't think this is how he would do an announcement on his own health. I think most of what would happen about his own health would this administration would try to hide it and it would leak somehow. I don't think there's any shot Trump would make some big announcement about his health, other than it being good. So who killed Jeffrey Epstein? Maybe Jeffrey Epstein himself. Maybe somebody else. Who the hell knows, bruh? Guys, this is not... there's no way this is about Trump's health. There's no way Trump himself would announce some negative news about his health. He would never do that. He's too crazed about how good his health always is. How about military action against Venezuela? I guess that's possible. But all the credible reporting so far is about drug prices. But it seems like all the live streams I've been looking at still have this vague title of Trump makes an announcement. You'd think if it was like 100% confirmed, most of these live streams would change the title. Maybe not. Maybe they're just trying to get people to click Trump makes an announcement on Epstein Day. Oh, let me click it because it's about the Epstein files. It ends up not being, et cetera, et cetera. They get the clicks they want. Trump is announcing his resignation. Where do you guys get these ideas from? Trump is announcing that he personally killed Jeffrey Epstein in order to protect the United States. Can you imagine? That'd be crazy. Kenya Knight says, another distraction. Yeah, I think that's where we're headed right now. Yo, come on, bro. Let's go. What are you waiting for? Would be nice if my dad got back in time for
Put us out.
Oh, here he is.
All right, very good. Thank you. I'll just talk to him. Alex, we're out.
Who are these people behind them? None of them look familiar. Lower drug, you can see it in the corner. It's about lowering drug prices. I don't know if you guys can see. You can see this in the corner here. It says lower drug. So the reporting was correct. It is about drug prices. Man, they really pulled one on me. I don't know why, but when I saw this, I really was like, oh, here comes an Epstein announcement. Nope.
Check, 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 1, 2. Last audio checks. Everybody got it? Good. Audio. Good. Cuts. You guys got audio? Good. Okay.
Now, we'll see if he does say anything about the Epstein files. My prediction is no. All right, so we'll end this poll since we know what the announcement is about. Let's see. Will he mention, let's say, will he mention Epstein files in drug price announcement? New polls up. And none of these people look familiar to me. Like, I'm surprised RFK Jr. isn't there. Maybe they'll walk in with him or something. Does anybody recognize these people? Maybe these are private sector people. Timmy says no way he mentions Epstein. Timothy says no way he mentions Epstein. Yeah. Turns out this is just a big distraction. Dude, he got me too. You know, I'm looking at my phone. Trump makes an announcement. Oh, it's got to be the Epstein. And then, like, you know, I came back. I'm sitting here. I'm thinking about it. I'm reading the chat room. I'm like, oh, wait, of course it's not about that. Of course it's not. Just a big distraction. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I don't really know anything about this in particular, about his lowering drug prices. I have to do a little bit more research on it, generally speaking. So it seems like the reporting on the Epstein files right now is that they're going to release maybe something today, but most they're going to slow release over the next couple weeks. That's what the reporting is right now, at least. He's lowering the price of Adderall. Anthony's funny, man. That is my dog. That is not a dog in the White House. That's my dog somewhere in the house. I wonder if he will double down on the, 600% reduction rhetoric numbers. In Swiss newspapers, there was a huge article about a Swiss model sexually abused by Donald Trump, idiotic Trump, back in 1993. She was able to escape Epstein. Search for Beatrice Keul. Wow, that's quite. I've never heard that. This dude's still not here yet, man. It's 2:04. He's still not here. Sam, do we wish you a happy Hanukkah or Merry Christmas? I wasn't sure. Either one will do. You know, I respond to both. I usually do whatever someone says to me back. So if someone's like, Merry Christmas, and I say Merry Christmas back to them. If they say Happy Hanukkah, I say Happy Hanukkah back to them. If they say Happy Holidays, I say Happy Holidays back to them. That's usually what I do it. Usually, I think best for me, since I'm half Jewish, half Christian, it's just Happy Holidays. You know, that covers all the bases. I wonder, are the press in the room? I wonder if they're going to ask him questions. This dude's jangling the fireplace play stuff over there. Happy birthday. It's not my birthday. The Muppet Killer says there's no press. So this is just a strict announcement, not a press conference, just a... Allan Lichtman surprise appearance at the White House. I don't think this White House likes my dad very much. I don't think he'd be invited. Oh, let's go to the poll. Will Trump mention Epstein files during drug price announcement? 78% are saying no. Yeah, I think you all are right. I think this is just a total announcement on drug prices, trying to make him look good. And that'll be it. Whoever said earlier in the chat that anything on the Epstein files in terms of announcements is going to come from the DOJ only, I think you're right. He wants to blame high drug prices on Biden. He probably will, yeah. On what's our Trump bingo card today? It's crazy. On like the betting markets, you can predict. You can bet on exactly the words he'll use in speeches. Pretty much any world leader now. More tariffs. I think we're pretty sure at this point this is about drugs prices. I mean, unless this board here is just a distraction from what he's at, which is probably not going to happen. The hiking messes. I bet they've been standing there for about an hour. It's torturous, man. Yes, this is current, Gavin. This is live. We are live in action here. Live in action. Interesting that in that first poll we did, what is this announcement gonna be about? Healthcare was the lowest percentage of anything, and it turns out to be exactly what he's talking about. Crazy. Will he mention Biden? I would guess yes. At very least, the previous administration, I would guess yes. He's burning the Epstein files, yeah. No doubt. Trying to read the chat and like trying to respond to it, but it's moving so quick. I'm not used to it. Usually on my own streams, on my own channel, the chat's going real slow. I can follow it real closely. This is going too fast. I don't know how people do it with a fast chat. What if someone has to poop? I guess you either hold it or you just make a decision to go, man. You know? Sometimes you just gotta go. It is what it is, you know? Fox News is currently skewering Trump, are they? On what exactly? On the Epstein files? There's slow mode, right? That is true. I don't really know how to put it on slow mode. I mean, I could figure it out, but... Alright. 79% say that he will not mention Epstein files. Let's do a new poll. Will Trump mention Biden / previous admin? Waiting for him is like watching paint dry. It really is, dude. Look, they're not even in line anymore. They don't even give a F. They're just walking around chatting. Her butts to the camera. Biden derangement syndrome. I think people gotta use that. I feel like that's a good one. That question is a no-brainer. Yeah, 92% are already saying yes. 93, it's gone up. Sam, blame Biden for something like Trump would. I blame Biden for the Ravens being bad this year. Like, you know, my Ravens, they had it all on paper and they just blew it. And if it wasn't for Joe Biden, dude. Ravens suck regardless. Laugh my ass out. I'm about to block you, Sperry. That's the only thing I really care about. You can say whatever you want about me. Don't talk on my Ravens, dude. Yeah, Ravens Patriots this weekend. That should be a big game. Brady Allen says Trump will talk about anything that's currently on his mind. If he mentions Epstein, we'll know he's thinking about the debacle he helped create. That's a fair point. He is known for going off the script, right? Are you surprised Trump has not fired anyone from his administration yet? No, because they're all Trump loyalists and Trump has no shame and they have no shame. I'm not surprised at all. In fact, I expected that he and his cabinet would do horrible things and then double down on them and have no shame. I see Seahawks fans. I see Bears fans. Eagles fans. Can't do the Eagles. Eagles are a big no-no for me. Can you do the weather? Sure. The weather in Washington, D.C. is 49 degrees, but it feels like 33. There's a wind advisory, and these conditions are expected to last until 10 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. In New York City, it's 51 degrees, 3 degrees warmer than Washington. That's not normal. And it feels like 40. So, hey, the New Yorkers are getting a little bit better weather today, but there is a wind advisory starting at 4 p.m., it looks like, in New York. In Los Angeles, 64 degrees and mostly sunny. Gotta love the LA weather. In London, it's 46 degrees. It's nighttime there. It's now 7 p.m. Clear skies. It'll get down to a low of 43 tonight. That's my weather report. That's my weather report. Negative 38 Celsius here. Where are you? Where is it negative 38 Celsius? Extras. Moki Dragon says Arizona is sunny and racist. Oh, it rained a lot in New York today. Didn't realize that. I think someone said Canada is where it's negative 30. Well, yeah. Canada is cold, man, no doubt. Valencia, Spain is 12 degrees Celsius at the nighttime. Oh, here we go. Here he is.
Okay, thank you very much. Wow, what a group of people. They make
There's
a lot of
RFK
money.
Jr., Lutnick.
It's a hell of a group. How are you?
And it's going to take you 15 minutes to shake all their hands.
Yes.
Dr. Oz back there.
The greatest executives in the country, in the world.
Yeah, I figured they were private sector folks. I don't know if you heard that, but Trump
Great
just
honor.
said they're executives.
These are among the greatest executives anywhere in the world, so it's an honor to have them with us, and I think they'll be very happy about what we have to say. I thought I'd start by announcing two things. This is the gold card that, as you know, the Secretary of Commerce and myself and some others have been working on for quite
What a joke.
a while. And Howard, how much have we sold in a few days?
$1,300,000,000 worth in a matter of a couple of days.
That's essentially it's the green card on steroids.
Immigration to the highest bidder, huh? You can come to this country as long as you're rich.
And it's a pathway, and it's been an amazing thing. And as you know, millions of people pour into our country from the border. And not anymore, they don't know, nobody comes in actually anymore. But under the Biden administration, 25 million people came in.
Oh, Biden. He already said it. Boom. Bingo card unlocked. That was quick, man.
And they came from prisons and mental institutions, and they were drug dealers, and all sorts of people came in that shouldn't be here. They came from the jails all over Venezuela, all over the world, the Congo. And now when they come in, they have to pay $1 million. And we've had a tremendous surge.
He's really going all in on this American oligarchy thing, right? Rich people, come on in. If you're not rich, stay out.
And you're going to be happier than anybody because when you go to Harvard and the Wharton School of Finance and all of the great schools and you want to hire somebody and then you find out that, I'm sorry, they can't stay in our country for more than 24 hours. They graduate from the top schools. These people want to hire them. Now you're able to buy a card and you're able to keep people in the country. They can't keep people in the country.
What corporation is going to pay $1 million for one person to stay in the country? That's ridiculous.
And they go to Canada, they go to other countries. A lot of times they go to Canada even though they work for the companies behind me. So now you're able to buy, the companies are able to buy the card and use it for people coming in to our country so they can stay in our country instead of being immediately shipped out after graduating. They graduate number one in their class at the best school, and they want to go to work for Johnson & Johnson, as an example, who's not here today, who will be here next week. They're well represented here. But they want to go to work for one of the great companies behind me, and you learn they can't do that because they're shipped out of the country. They're not shipped out anymore. So your company will pay a little bit, but that's okay. You'll be
Dude, no company's going to pay that much for every individual employee. Just from a strict finance perspective, I don't even, that's ridiculous.
able to get them. So I just wanted to, it's called the gold card, the Trump gold card. Quite a beautiful thing. And you've taken in just a few days, you've taken in over $1.5 billion. That goes all toward reducing debt, goes into the Treasury of the United States. And I thought I'd do this before we start on Most Favored Nations. I want to read this because I would have said it the other night, but I was not allotted too much time, actually. You had a couple of brand new shows opening, and I understand that. But I do want to say, and some people say, oh, you shouldn't say it. It sounds negative. To me, I think it sounds positive. The only reason our unemployment tucked up and went up to 4.5%, which it went up to 4.5%, which is quite a low number, but still, is because we are reducing the government workforce by numbers that have never been seen before. In other words, government...
And that's a bad thing, dude.
...jobs are way down.
That's bad.
And as you know, we don't need 10 people to fill one job, which is what we had.
Lies, but just a myth that he's just saying.
In government in many cases. So the government workforce, by numbers that have never been seen before, has been reduced very substantially, and it will continue to be reduced. 100% of our new jobs are in the private sector. So this is for the last number of months.
I don't understand why that's that's supposed to be a good thing. Hey, they're not in the government, they're in the private sector. Okay.
Think of that, 100%. Are you shocked to hear that? That's the way to make America great again, when you think, right? It's the only way.
I don't even understand how he can claim that, because state and local governments are still hiring people, right? So it's not true. I mean, that's just a lie. CD No Handle says, notice how Harvard, etc., are the best schools, but when they're attacking and defunding them, but they were attacking them and defunding them not too long ago. Yeah, fair, good point.
100% of new jobs are in the private sector. And I could reduce unemployment to 2%, 1%.
Do it.
Or practically zero.
Do it.
By just hiring people into the federal government.
Do it.
Even though those jobs are not necessary, which is what we had before. We had millions and millions of people having jobs that they never even showed up. Wrong.
Complete lie.
So I wish that the media would report that the 4.5% is an amazing number. And again, if they don't report it, I guess maybe I'll just let...
I don't understand what they're supposed to report. Well, you fired government employees, so it's fine that less people have jobs?
Some people go into the federal workforce. It'll look really wonderful. And what we're doing is the only way you can do it to make a country great. You can't have the government jobs. You have to have the private sector jobs. And these are among
What if you have both?
the biggest hirers of private sector. So we have reduced the federal workforce by tremendous hundreds of thousands of people.
That's bad.
And that reflects in unemployment, but
Right.
that will be used up very quickly. And we've 100% of the new jobs, which, by the way, it's a record-setting number of jobs, too, is in the private sector.
That can't be true. That literally cannot be true. There are still local and state governments that hire people. You cannot have 100% of jobs in an economy only go to the private sector. At least in the American. That's just a lie.
And I think that'll get even stronger when these buildings being built all over the country, of which they're building some too, but AI and auto plants and everything else, they're being built all over the country. When that happens, your numbers will be even better. But I would like you to report it the way it is. We don't do the federal workforce jobs. We're reducing that very substantially. I'm thrilled to
Right, and that's going to also have a ripple effect across the economy.
be joined by the leaders of 9 of the world's largest
bunch of
pharmaceutical manufacturers, all very big names, celebrities in their own right,
Celebrities.
very, very powerful people. And they head some of the most admired companies anywhere in the world. It's a great group. To announce that they've agreed to offer many of their flagship drugs, really all of their flagship drugs, at heavily discounted, most favored nations prices. In other words, whatever the drug sells for in the world, whatever the lowest number is, if it's Germany, if it's in UK, anywhere, we will match that price. Right now, sometimes it's 10 times higher.
Yeah,
We've
that's
been
not good, for
laughed
sure.
at and scoffed at for years. In fact, I was going to do it in my first term, but unfortunately, with the advent of COVID, as you would say, it was not. I don't think it was a very good time to be hitting up
the definition of the
Spain,
word advent.
Italy, France. But now we're doing it. So the hardest thing to do was going to be to get a country to do it, because we would have a pill in New York that was for sale for $130, and you could buy it in Germany.
Advent, the arrival of a notable person, thing, or event. I guess he used it correctly. My bad.
And France and Spain and someplace, anyways, they set their own prices for $10. So we'd pay 10 or 13 times more, pay 5 times more, pay all different prices. Now, whatever the lowest price is. Now, the pharmaceutical companies were difficult, but they also love our country. They knew it was unfair. But and they were great. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Doctor says I'm doing great.
I'm live right now.
Did you get food?
No, not yet. I've been live because I thought Trump. They had this thing.
Right?
Well, they had this thing that Trump was making this big announcement at 1, and it turns out to be about his Trump RX stuff. It has nothing to do with the Epstein files.
Anything to distract, huh?
Yeah.
Order food.
What do you want me to order?
Whatever mom wants.
That doesn't. Can you order that? I'm live right now. All right. Can you close the door too?
I've got a BB's World Service interview in a few minutes.
All right. That was my dad. He has a BBC interview, so he won't be coming on with us, unfortunately.
It. But the bigger problem was going to be the countries. How are you going to get the countries to do it? And we told them, if you don't do it, we're going to have to use tariffs, and we're going to charge you a 10% tariff, which is far more money than the money we're talking about. And they immediately agreed to do it. So we have all the foreign countries agreeing to do it. If we didn't have the use of tariffs, we would never be able to do this. But we used tariff, and they said, is it a threat? I said, yes, it is a threat. Then they said, we will do it, and they dropped the price. So what's happening, because the world is bigger than the United States in terms of people, that's
That's the first truth he's told today.
Same pill would go from $10 to $20 for them, which is an increase, but it wouldn't go to, midway. But it would go from $10 to $20. Ours would go from $130 to $20. So we dropped way down. They went up a little bit. And everyone knows it's the way it is. They, for years, would just say, no, as medicine got more expensive for us, it would stay. They said, nope, you can't sell it in this country. Let the United States pay. And we had other presidents, all of them, said, okay, we'll pay. So we were subsidizing the entire world. We're not doing it anymore. This is the biggest thing having to do with drugs in the history of the purchase of drugs. And I don't think the maybe press will treat it as a story. This is the biggest front page story that you'll ever see. This is a huge bearing too on the healthcare, because a big part of healthcare is drugs, pharmaceuticals, right, Oz? And this will have a tremendous impact on the reduction of healthcare. The biggest impact is going to be that the money should be paid not to the insurance companies, directly to the people, and the people will buy their own healthcare. So,
unfortunately, my dad will not be coming on. He's got a BBC interview, and I think he thinks this is all a bunch of nonsense, and he would want to talk about the Epstein file release, but they're not talking about it. So that's what we thought. At least that's at first what we thought was going to happen, but turns out they're talking about drug prices, which is an important issue.
Drug, of which these companies make much of it. Whatever the lowest price is, that price will come down to that price. So we will get the lowest price anywhere in the world. If they're lower in England than they are in Germany, we take the England price. As of today, 14 out of 17 largest pharmaceutical companies have now agreed. 14 out of 17. Oh, those three companies, they're in deep trouble. But actually, they've agreed, because I think those three companies are coming in at a different time next week. So they've agreed. Johnson & Johnson is one of them, right?
After the holidays.
Why? They couldn't do it faster?
No, we're going to be talking about Trump RX.
Oh, okay. Trump RX. Trump RX is doing well. As of today, 14 out of
Trump
the 17 largest pharmaceutical companies, but they've all agreed, have now agreed to drastically lower drug prices for their American patients, for the American people and patients. This represents the greatest victory for patient affordability in the history of American healthcare by far. And every single American will benefit. So this is the biggest thing ever to happen on drug pricing and on healthcare. This will have a tremendous impact on healthcare itself. I want to thank Sanofi CEO Paul Hudson. Paul?
Here he goes on his
Hi, Paul.
naming.
I hope they have you in some order.
Dan, stand up.
Okay,
Dan,
well,
say
we'll
hello.
do the best we can. Thank you, Paul. Great company, by the way. Novartis CEO Vas Narasimhan. Thank you very much, Vas. Great job. Genentech CEO Ashley Megaragri. Where are you,
There's
Ashley?
no way he's pronouncing these names correctly.
Thank you very much. Great company.
No shot.
Behringer Inc. President
No
John
shot that he
Michael
pronounced that correctly.
Moores.
Incumine.
Thank you very much. Gilead CEO Dan O'Day.
Okay, that one he got probably.
Thank you, Dan. Great job. It's a good company. Bristol Myers Squibb Executive Vice President Carrie Gallman. Carrie? Thank you, Don. Thank you very much. GSK CEO Emma Wormsley. Emma? Thank you very much, Emma. Great job. Merck CEO Rob Davis. Great company. Thank you. Great company. How long have you been CEO?
Almost 5 years.
Very good. You're doing a good job.
Trump sometimes.
And
is funny, man.
Amgen Executive Vice President and CFO Peter Griffith. Peter?
Peter.
Thank you very much. You
That
okay?
left hand shake
Fake
is
news.
awkward, man.
We want you to be healthy. Are you all right? The camera's not okay, but she's okay. That's more important. We have good medicine for you if you need some medicine. One of them can take
What
good
just
care of
happened?
it. We're also joined by Secretaries Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Howard Lutnick, ambassador, and really some incredible ambassadors, administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, and the FDA Commissioner, Marty McCary. They're doing a phenomenal job. Thank you. Thank you, fellas. Good job. For decades, Americans have been forced to pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs by far, not just a little bit. We were like a whipping post, the United States, and
Tied
just been
to the
4% of the world's
post.
population.
Shout out
We
to
have
the Allan
4%
brothers.
of the world's population, and consumers pay only 13% of all prescription drugs, yet pharmaceutical companies make 75% of their profits. Think of that. So we have 4% of the population, 13% of prescription drugs, and yet the people behind me, who are wonderful people, make 75% of their profits from the American customer. So they understood that better than anybody, that we have to
Someone
do something.
fainted out in the crowd.
That's
And he
why I
said
signed
fake
an
news and
executive
laughed at
order
them?
instructing
No
my
way.
administration to do everything in its power to slash
you, Mary
prescription
McHugh. Appreciate
drug
that.
prices for Americans while getting other countries to pay more. And we don't want more. We want this fair. We want to pay the same thing. They used to blame it, remember, on research and development. And I said, well, research and development for everybody. And everybody understood it. As a result, the United Kingdom's National Health Service agreed to pay the fair share for prescription drugs for the first time in 26 years. And we expect other countries in Europe will do the same. And if they don't, we're going to put tariffs on them, and we'll get the same amount of money, plus we'll take a nice return on the money. We signed historic agreements with Pfizer, Eli Lilly, AstraZeneca, Novo Nordisk, and EMD, Serrano, to reduce prices by 300, 400, 500, 600, and even 700%. And
There we go,
sometimes
folks.
even more than
Boom,
that.
we did it again.
I remember when I
Reducing
had a
prices
news
by
conference in my first
700%.
term. I was the first president that reduced prices from the beginning of my term to a year, from January to December, 0.25%. And I thought it was the greatest thing, because it's the first one in 28 years. Now we're talking about numbers that are so incredible. 0.25%. Think of that. I was proud of it, because it hadn't happened in 28 where drug prices went down. Well, now
That's a big jump from reducing prices from 1/4% to 700%, man. That's incredible.
you're going to see numbers that nobody would believe possible. Think of that. 500, 600, 700, 800%.
800.
Today we're building on these accomplishments.
800%, guys. Wow.
The companies assembled in this room have agreed to offer all of their drugs to Medicaid and most favored nations pricing. You're going to get most favored nations pricing, meaning they're going to pay our country the lowest price paid anywhere in the world.
That sounds good.
And they will list their most popular drugs on TrumpRx.gov. TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name it that. Somebody named it that. And I guess they assumed that was.
Now, how are they paying for this exactly? Is this some sort of government subsidy to bring down prices, or they've just sort of agreed to just do it, these companies?
Did you name it, Oz, or Bobby name it?
We all named it together.
Okay, well, I'm honored to have the name. And so far that's turned out, because the numbers are so incredible. It's an honor. And you're going to get massive discounts to all consumers. So massive discounts will be not even offered. It's just going to be a fact. All consumers will get massive discounts. That's TrumpRx.gov. Every new drug produced.
AKA Dust Bunny says, it's a scam. Can you expand on that? I'd be interested, because I haven't done a ton of research on this. But yeah, it's now that I'm like thinking about it a little bit more clearly, I'm like, how is this possible exactly? By what mechanisms are they making this possible?
Produced by these companies in the future will permanently be offered to American patients at most favored nation prices. You know, people used to talk about that for years, but nobody ever did anything about it. No other president did. And it wasn't easy, but it worked out great. And I'm so proud of the people behind me. As an example of the price reductions we have secured through these new agreements, Santa Fe will cut the cost of its blood thinner, Plavix, from $750 to less than $16. Wow. Where's Santa Fe?
Weird. That's not an 800% reduction.
Where are you? What? That's incredible, huh?
This guy. Where are you? That's incredible, huh?
Could have gone to $17, maybe. That's amazing. And you're going to do tremendous business. You're going to do much more business. So that's.
But who's paying for that difference? Are the companies just eating that loss? Or is the government paying these companies to reduce the consumer price?
Coming from $750, think of that, $750. And that's the number one blood thinner. I don't want to know about that. I take an aspirin. To less than $16, think of that. Bristol Myers Squibb, great company, both great companies, will cut the price of HIV medication, Rayurtaz, from nearly $1,500, $1,500 to $217.
There's no doubt that's a massive reduction. But how are they making that massive reduction? Are they just upselling us that much that these companies can just reduce prices that much and they can't, and nothing will change? I can't imagine that. These are private companies trying to make as much money as possible. I'm not understanding by what mechanism these companies are going from charging $1,500 to charging $200.
And it will cut the cost of hepatitis B medication.
Because even if these companies can, in theory, I don't even know how, they can afford to do so, right? They're going to see massive, massive revenue declines. And I can't imagine they're just doing that because Trump asked them to.
Barrett-Lude.
The Inflation Reduction Act made it possible to negotiate drug prices. The inflation... Oh, gosh, I missed it. I lost my place. I was reading someone's comment. In exchange for exemptions from his planned pharmaceutical tariffs and other benefits, such as fast-tracked review of new drugs. That sounds scary. Oops.
From $1,400 to $413. Gilead will cut the hepatitis C medication, Epclusa, from nearly $25,000 to less than $2,500. And all prices are like that because we're bringing them down to the world's lowest price.
I mean, this isn't even a distraction from the Epstein files. No one's paying attention to this. I mean, this is boring as hell.
Everything. And these people really are pioneers. What they're doing is so great.
If they really wanted to distract from the Epstein files, they would have to do something crazy. This ain't distracting nobody.
And in the end, they're going to do much more business, and it's. I think it's going to even out for them as a company. The countries will have to pay more, but even for them, because of the fact that the world is quite a bit bigger, it won't be very severe, I hope. I also want to thank these companies and their incredible executives for their generous contribution to American national security, because it's really what it is. It's, to a large extent, national security in addition. You can't continue to pay 13, 14 times more than other countries and think you're going to have security. Collectively, they will invest over $150 billion to build up domestic pharmaceutical manufacturing in America. They're going to be, because of tariffs, they're coming in, and I think because of the love of our country, and maybe because of the November 5th election, but because of tariffs, they're going to be coming in. They're building already. Just about all of them have started. They're building their plants in all states all over the country, and they're building incredible pharmaceutical plants. We're going to have close to 100% of our pharmaceuticals in a very short period of time made in the USA. As part of these agreements, Merck will also donate 3.5 tons of antibacterials to be placed in America's strategic reserve. Thank you very much. GSX will donate over 200 pounds of ingredients to make rescue inhalers, which is a big deal, and Bristol Myers Squibb will donate 6.5 tons of blood thinners. We appreciate it. Such amazing companies. Every president for a generation has promised to reduce drug prices, but they were talking about a little bit like that. I am the only one of them to ever even think in terms of favored nations, and that's what this is. Favored nations. It's called most favored nation. We are now a most favored nation. I want to thank the leaders in the room, and I also want to thank the leaders of all of the countries that had to pay a little more so that we were treated fairly. I really do. I want to thank the leaders of countries.
Okay, cool.
And they knew the alternative was not much of an alternative, because if they didn't do it, we were going to charge them tariffs, and the tariffs would have been much more severe than what they did. But they did do it as soon as they realized about the tariffs. Then they did it very easily. No, they're very good people. Let's start with Amgen's Executive Vice President, who I already introduced, and I introduced the people here. So I'd like to ask Bobby and Oz to say a few words, and also I'd like to ask if anybody would like to speak on behalf of your company, or just say how great this country is doing. And you're all building tremendous facilities now in the United States instead of other countries that we all know about. But if you'd like to say something. So Oz, do you want to start? And Bobby?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much. Mr. President, he gets taller with time here. Mr. President, each of the 9 CEOs will speak very briefly about what they have done, because it is a patriotic effort. This is affordability in action. We talk about it in abstract.
This is just too boring. I can't listen to each one of these 9 CEOs. I can't do it. This is what I'm reading. So patients are generally thrilled with the idea of paying less for medicine they need, but 10 experts, including health economists, drug policy scholars, and industry insiders, warn we shouldn't expect most of these moves to deliver substantive savings, at least not yet. Discounts listed on Trump RX are unlikely to benefit many people. Most brand name drugs remain cheaper to buy through health insurance plans, which pick up the bulk of drug costs. If a patient opts to pay a drug's full price, even large discounts like 50% average markdown being touted by Pfizer can still leave people owing hundreds or even thousands of dollars a month. That said, Trump RX could help patients find savings on drugs that are sometimes excluded from insurance coverage, such as weight loss medications and infertility treatments. Tying U.S. prices to those charged abroad does not guarantee that Americans will pay less. Experts raised the possibility that drug makers could simply hike the prices of medicines they sell in other countries, or sell products exclusively in America, enabling them to continue to command any price they please. And even without any such gaming of the system, this approach also knows that international reference pricing can be very difficult to implement, the experts say. The prices that other countries pay, for example, can be hard to ascertain and are often negotiated in secret. So it is not as, of course, it's never as easy or simple as Trump makes it out to be, right? Like, oh, everything's going down, and it went from $5,000 to $20. Yeah, it doesn't seem that simple. So this obviously had nothing to do with Epstein or the Epstein release. I don't even think it was a good distraction, to be honest. I don't know. I'm just at this point. I'm just so bored by this. I can't keep going. I hope you guys understand. I got to eat something too. I got stuff to do today. You know what I mean? Eating, for example. So on last night's show, we said that we were going to go live today on this channel for the Epstein release. We still might do that, so stay tuned. The reporting right now is saying that they might release something today, but not much, and they're going to slow roll the release for the next couple weeks. So if what they released today is a whole bunch of nothing, we probably won't go live. But just stay tuned. I thought this was going to be Epstein related. It's not. Hey, if they can reduce drug prices, that'll be great. Doesn't seem as simple as Trump is making it out to be. But keep an eye out on this channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you later. Peace.